Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Well, if you're looking to spice things up in your home, change it up a little bit, you can work with an interior designer. I have found one who's amazing. And what we're going to look at today is something that's they're having a moment. I'm talking about wallpaper. That's part of what we're going to dig into today. And it's not your grandmother's wallpaper by any means. She is the woman behind Rooms by Sandy Decorating Den Interior. Sandy Schuster joins us here on the program as our professional of the year. Welcome back.
Hi, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful to have you back here. And yeah, I'm seeing more and more wallpaper being used in so many different ways. I didn't even bathrooms. Who would ever think? And they look good. It's, I think we got afraid of wallpaper from back in the day. Then came along it's tough to remove from the wall. So, once you go there and then you decide if you want to paint, 5, 10 years down the road, then you got to remove it from the wall. But today's wallpaper is radically different from yesterday's, correct?
Yeah, you can buy wallpaper that looks like it was made years ago, but it's new and refreshing now, lots of different designs and colors. So yeah, it's really popular right now to really make a difference in a room.
Is there any room where you haven't yet done wallpaper?
Oh yeah, I don't do wallpaper in every room.
Okay. Because I've seen it in kitchens, I've seen it in
Oh, a
bathrooms.
specific room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a den, a living room, a kitchen, but yeah, it can go mostly in every room.
Somebody showed me, I'm trying to remember if I saw it from you, but they used wallpaper on a ceiling because the ceiling had the popcorn or something going on up there where it was somewhat irregular. And just to hide that, they wallpapered the ceiling, but it was a very laid back look. There wasn't a lot going on up there, just a little bit of color, a little texture. It was almost, that was like a white ceiling with a little something going on, but it looked amazing. Like I thought that's wallpaper.
Right. Yeah, you can do
Hmm.
that, especially if you have one of those tray ceilings where you have different
Ooh,
alcoves that are coming down. It can
wow.
really make a statement.
For you as a designer, that's got to add to your excitement because now it's just another tool of creativity that you can bring out of the shed and say, hey, you know what about this? We could do this. Like you just sparked that in my mind with the tray ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah, you can really make a difference with wallpaper.
Hmm. You have some examples. Can we take a look at those?
Sure, I'd love to show you. Let me see here. Let me share
Sure.
my screen. So can you see it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this was a home that my clients built during the pandemic, and I met with her the summer of 2021 when we were starting to get out of the pandemic and the vaccinations came in. They had this beautiful home. She had beautiful views. And she said, Sandy, I want a designer look. I want to do something here. So the picture on the left is kind of her living area, and then the dining area is just to the right of it.
Hmm.
I'm just showing you the before here.
Sure.
But to help her, that's another thing that I do to help my clients is help you visualize what it's going to look like. I gave her several different ideas and alternatives, but this is the one that she liked.
So,
So
aha.
yeah, here, so I gave her a rendering. I measured out her floor plan, her windows, and I gave her several renderings, but this is the one that she picked, where I just put in some simple window treatments around the dining room area and then wallpapered the rest of it. So this was the rendering, and then this was the after.
Wow.
So the nice thing is I could just help her visualize it so that she knew what it looked like. It wasn't perfect, the rendering, but it really gave an idea.
Mm. And this is the actual room.
That's the actual room. That's the after. Yeah.
Incredible. And it's so not in your face, but just a little bit of substance there with the tones of the wallpaper. And I love how you pick up some patterns with that rug.
Yeah, I mean, it just, what it does in this space is it brings your eye to the view. It's a beautiful view. This is actually wintertime, and it's still pretty in the wintertime, but in the
For sure.
fall, it's gorgeous reds and oranges, and summertime's lots of green. But it just kind of brings you into the room and makes you really say, wow.
So, question on the other side there, where it looks like we have a TV and potentially a fireplace, is that real brick? Left hand side.
It's stacked stone, yes.
What is that?
Well, it's stacked stone, so I guess that's not brick, but they actually stack the stone to give it lots of texture, and it's real common that they're using in newer homes today.
It's from this distance, it's kind of hard to tell. Was that I'm trying to remember the before picture. Was that there? Or we didn't see that in the before?
It didn't see it, it didn't get a wide enough shot there. I was just using my iPhone for the befores, but it was already there.
It was there.
Yeah.
And the same, sort of gray, white tones on the stack stone that was there.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, interesting. How it all kind of all came together there.
Right.
When you work on a room, do you focus on one thing and then build around it? For example, where I'm going with that, the stone that we're referring to above the fireplace, that's there. We have to work with that, or we're going to change it. But would you look at that and say, all right, we've got that over there. Let me work. And this is just a general question, not specifically for this room, but if there's an anchor that can't be changed, but you have to work around it. Does that happen quite often when you're designing?
Yes, that was factored into the design, but overall I wanted more of kind of a monochromatic look. Didn't want to add a lot of color to it because there's lots of color outside. Even though this is winter time, you see the blue and the whites, but like I said, in the fall, it's very colorful. Summertime, lots of green. So kind of picking up on a monochromatic color tone, but giving it some vibrancy with the pattern.
Hmm. Yeah, this is just it's amazing. It looks so good. It looks like AI generated. We know it's not because we saw them before. How about some other examples? Got some more?
Sure. So this was her bedroom. And she said, Sandy, she has a husband, but she says, I just want it to be really girly. We sleep in here, and I want it to be fun. And so this was the rendering that I gave her. Again, I gave her several options, and this is the wallpaper that I picked for her. We did traversing draperies. So this was the rendering, and then this was the after. So
Wow.
again, yeah, the renderings just can help her visualize. And these draperies actually traverse and they're lined, so they block out the light, so they're room darkening for when you want to sleep in.
Hmm. Wow. Again, we're still following the gray tones, at least from my eye here. As we walk to this room, but you added a little bit of color on the wall, which is it's nice, it's pretty.
Yeah, I added the blue kind of gives it a pop, and those draperies are actually a kind of silvery blue.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
yeah, and a
nice.
beautiful, even though it's winter time, but you can see in the summertime, you'll see the mountain range and you'll see just all kinds of dimension and color.
But I see the method to your madness here in that, Sandy, you're focusing our eye out that window. You did it in the other room and in this room because that's where the action is.
Right, right,
Wow, it definitely works. Because right away I'd look, oh yeah, what's going outside that window? It's almost like we're framing the window.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Mm. What else you got? Let's take a look.
Okay, so this was an office. It was just your black and white tones. They're a bunch of accountants, and they wanted it to be more fun, but also gender neutral, and just give it some life. And this isn't the best before, but this was there when you first walk into the office. There's this big boardroom with lots of office tables. And this is actually the boardroom, but what I did is I added some color. Instead of the white walls, I added a paint here, kind of a dark blue here. This is where you first enter into the office. And then I did this cloud wallpaper over here that I'm pointing to.
Hmm.
And then there's this big window here, and then you see offices here, and then I did the wallpaper here. And then I did a little seating area over here. They didn't buy my whole design plan, but they loved the wallpaper and paint. In fact, these were two women that I did my presentation to, and they said, Sandy, before I even gave them my presentation, we're just kind of wondering what you came up with. We're just kind of curious if we're going to like it. And then at the end, they said, wow, Sandy, we could not have come up with this, but we love it. So I don't have some after professional pictures of it, but it really gave some life to this kind
Hmm.
of black and white office.
As soon as you showed that initial picture, my first thought was, typical office.
Yeah,
Nothing special, just, clean, that, but, and somewhat contemporary, but just another office.
right, right.
Hmm.
And so then they also had this really great kitchen. I
Wow.
mean, they have a snack bar, they have a
Ah,
refrigerator, a microwave, a little seating area over to the left. But we also did the same thing in their room. We continued the wallpaper around here and then gave it some the paint treatment. So it just gave it a little bit more
hmm.
depth and just made it really fun. I also put up shelving here for them. And they actually have a big Scrabble board over here. You can't see that, but that was a fun thing that they did in their office. So, well, they're all just accountants that are number crunching day to day. They go into their break room, into their boardroom, and they have a little bit of fun and creativity, and it looks nice.
Love it. And even if all the employees don't use that area often, I believe it's the intention that is set where we're fun office. It's here if you want to use it, or my eye, as soon as you showed the before, my eye went right to it looked like they had different thank you. Right next to that refrigerator of different, like if you want a certain cereal or something, that is so
Right,
cool. Yeah.
snacks.
Snacks. Thank you. Just
Yeah,
great idea. Fun. It looks like they care about those in the office and care enough to call an interior designer and do it right.
right, right.
Oh, yeah, that's super cool. What
Yeah.
else? What else can we take a look at?
So then this is a home and they love lots of artwork, but on the right hand, on the left hand side, that's kind of a staircase that goes down, and it's just it's a blank slate. It's
Mm,
just kind of a dull corner, and then they have their TV here by the fireplace, and they wanted to add some dimension there. So I proposed wallpaper. They like the birch tree wallpaper. And so I put it into the scene, and I also added a light fixture here in their hall. So now it gives it a little bit of depth, and it's not boring. We haven't done this project yet. They're still waiting to decide on. They're going to repaint this. I think they're going to do a lighter color here instead of the beige. But this is the concept that we're going for in their home, and it helped them to visualize it, to see it.
I have to tell you, that is so realistic looking. Like this
Yeah,
is as a rendering.
it's a rendering.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. Like I
right.
don't think I've ever seen a rendering that looks, especially the the detail going in. Anybody can, I would think in a rendering, pop a couch down, a pillow, table, but the pictures on the that wall that leads down the stairs, like you apparently that's their thing. So you continued that.
Right,
It's still going on. And
right.
God bless them for comfortable enough to put that stuff. Yeah, I would be afraid it's going to be falling over down the stairs with when people kids running through and my cat's alone. But
Yeah.
that's her thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is yeah, this is really nice. This is really nice.
So it helps them visualize. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so this was a big, several $1 million home that's on a golf course, and they had this new cabinetry put in. And at first they had it tiled because it matched their kitchen, and they said, Sandy, it looks too industrial.
Mm.
So they said, Sandy, how do we give it, what are we gonna do with this? So I suggested wallpaper. I gave them actually 4 different scenes. They also wanted to replace area rugs. And we actually ended up replacing this chair here. We reupholstered it a different fabric because it was kind of fighting with their kind of green calm tones that they liked. And so this was a rendering that I put together for them. We changed up the area rugs. We did new upholstery on the chairs, and then we actually wallpapered. Let me see if you can see here's a better picture of it. We actually did wallpaper inside the cabinet here and on the outsides of it. So it just kind of brought it all together. So the new area rugs, this is kind of a traditional pattern, but it's big, so it gives it more of a modern feel.
Mm.
And then new upholstery on the chairs, and it just made a difference, and it finished it off.
What's going
So
on up there in those upper cabinets with the gray, call it border around what looks like cabinet doors?
those are cabinet doors. That's part of my rendering. I think that's they're glass doors, so that's how my rendering showed it.
Okay.
So it looks kind of wonky, but yeah, that's what the cabinet is now. But when we put the wallpaper here, it just I don't have an after picture of it either, but it helped them visualize it, and they really love how it looks now.
Sure. Yeah. And again, this type of wallpaper is just subtly stated, in my opinion. It's not like in your face. It just adds a little bit of texture, a little bit of color in the
A
back.
little bit of color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It actually has a little metallic on it as well.
yep.
So
Yeah.
it looks rich. And oh, this was the color scheme. When I work with my clients, I try to show them what it's all gonna look like. This was their current settee, their current fabric, and I showed how it's gonna go together with the new rug, the wallpaper, and then the different fabrics I was gonna use. Made pillows, and also to kind of coordinate with their other furniture to put the same pillows of fabric on a different sofa so that it kind of coordinates with their new.
Mm.
Yeah.
This is super fun when you
Yeah.
see especially this, where you have the samplings, so it's right in front of you. If somebody can really get
Right.
a feel.
Right. Yeah, I was actually able to bring a sample of the rug, the wallpaper, and the fabrics as well, so they can touch and feel it and see it. We could hold it up in the space. So yeah,
Sandy,
this was option number 5.
have you ever designed something, put things together like that? The area rug on the left, the wallpaper, the pillows. Have you ever done it and thought to yourself, I like it, but I wonder if it really goes together? And how do you define really goes together anyway?
Well, there's scientific way of looking at it. I mean, when you have first of all of the fabrics that I picked out had a common theme of this kind of blue-green color, blue-green, blue-green, blue-green.
Sure.
And then mixing small patterns with large patterns helps it go together. I mean, obviously not everybody might like it, but all of a sudden, like this was option 5, I put a lot of different things together, but all of a sudden when they saw this, they're like, we love that, we want that, that's it. So so yeah, there is a method for my madness in putting patterns
Mm.
together.
It feels good just looking at that. And that's where designer expertise comes in, because the rest of us, we would never be that bold to say, I'm going to put this with that. Not going to happen, and that's where I think some people are disappointed with the way their rooms look, because they haven't taken, in their eyes, some chances. For you, it's calculated. This is
Yeah,
because this is what you do.
yeah.
But the rest of us, like, I don't know if I want to commit to that rug. Let's go with the safe one. Let's go with just,
Yeah.
minute pattern. Wallpaper. Nah, I'm not going to take a chance with that. That's why we can do it with you. And we can't do this. Like, we're not going to have all these swatches in front of us. Few minutes left. What else can we look at?
Just a couple more. This was a new home, and we wallpapered this back wall here just to give it some dimension because it was all just white. And it just really made, I think it really made that room. There's a little
Hmm.
metallic in there and silvers and greens and reds in there. And then we did this cloud wallpaper in this loft area to just, she wanted a coastal feel in her room. And that just helped do it. So I think that's the last of what I have to share.
Wow. Let's take a look at the other one again. The one before it. Yeah. Yeah. I love that paper.
Yeah,
Mm.
when my client picked it out, I thought, I'm not sure, but then when I started playing with it with all the decor, it's just like it works. So it was really great to have her collaboration with that.
Mm. And can we go to the finished?
This one?
Yeah.
Well, this is, I don't have any renderings. This is the finished product, and
Oh,
this
that
is the
it?
finished. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Those aren't renderings.
This one looks so perfect that it looks like a rendering. And the only reason I would say I'm not thinking it's a rendering because of the reflection on the TV. If that wasn't there, I would have thought this was like AI generated.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, my photographer took this after we did the installation. So I
Amazing.
furnished this space. Yeah.
The the wood feel to it on the wall unit and such. That was to give, I think you said, a coastal feel.
Yeah, she wanted it. She was from the East Coast and she's living now in Colorado, and she just wanted a room
Hmm.
that showed off things from the coast. And she didn't want turtles and birds, but she just wanted that feel. And so I
Hmm.
think the wallpaper did it along with the rich woods that we put in the space.
When it comes to the installation of wallpaper nowadays, somebody told me that it's not like it used to be, where if down the road, number of years in, you decide, yeah, I want to change it up. We're going to go for paint or whatever it might be. That it's a heck of a lot easier to remove that now than it was in the past. Is that true?
Absolutely. If you have it professionally installed, like if you have a lot of texture on your walls, my wallpaper installer will seal the walls so they're smooth. And then you put it on. So when you take that wallpaper off, it's not going to ruin your walls. It's going to come off. But the key is to make sure it's applied correctly.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, it goes back to professionalism, having a
Professionally.
professional designer and a professional installer. Um, and I'm hearing this. A final question here. Are you hearing that there's not enough wallpaper installers nowadays because there wasn't, people weren't into it, and now there's been a resurgence of wallpaper, people loving it, but these people to install aren't around like they used to be, and those who are up there in age and not taking as many projects. Have you heard that?
No, I usually use one particular wallpaper installer,
Hmm.
and she does her and her crew, they do a really professional job. So I haven't heard that, but I could see where that could be an issue in some areas because more
Yeah,
people are wanting it. A lot of people are using peel and stick, but then it peels, sticks, and then it peels. So that's not the best, but
that doesn't sound like a good
yeah,
idea.
yeah. I happen to have really good luck with my wallpaper installer. Her and her crew are great.
I didn't even know peel and stick existed. And first when you first say it, it's like maybe, and then the next, no. You've got so many different things going on in terms of humidity and such that I don't think that might be the best idea, but I'm not the professional.
Yeah, I put it on the back of a cabinet so you can see it as you're looking in shelving, but that's it. In a
Right.
little space. Yeah.
Gotcha. Fabulous. Thanks for showing these today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, really cool. How do we find you, Sandy?
You can see me on my website at roomsbysandy.decoratingden.com, or my email is sschuster@decoratingden.com.
So much can be done in our rooms now more than ever. Now that wallpaper is back, it just adds so much depth and richness. Really cool. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
You too. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.